Hey everybody, it's me again. Um, Wobbly. Sorry about that. I must be shaking. Um, Thought I'd use the last bit of good light tonight, to make this video real fast. I was gonna call this, Does Germany have a Nazi problem? And before I get started, I thought I'd let y'all see this spray paint graffiti, which Germans seem to be very enamored of, behind me. Never let somebody spray paint it over, then they spray painted over what was spray painted, and then fascists had the streets. So, funny thing about that, I was thinking of playing a little bit of grammar with them and coming out and spray painting over the never, but I'm much too old to be spray painting. I got a rule in Germany: don't break the law, and if you are breaking the law, make damn sure you don't get caught for doing something stupid. Spray painting would be something stupid. But anyways, does Germany have a problem with Nazis? I'm coming from one of the areas where they say might be the worst place in Germany, or one of the worst. Well, I'm in East Germany, but yeah, I'm in Saxony. There's other places too. Vorpommern, Mecklenburg, I think is pretty bad. Thuringia is supposed to be pretty bad. But I think we have to first define our terms here. First of all, what are you calling a problem? If you think one Nazi is too many, then yes, Germany has a Nazi problem. If you think anybody to the left of Hillary Clinton is a Nazi, if you think Donald Trump's a Nazi, yes, then Germany has a Nazi problem. But I don't like broad brush painting with the term Nazi, or any political terms really. I think they have to be defined. So I would describe right-wingers, nationalists, conservatives, skinheads, and then real Nazis, and then kind of like your hobby Nazis. And I guess this the last two terms I need to further define. Hobby Nazi is the guy who listens to hip-hop and knows absolutely nothing about the history of the NSDAP or the 12 years that Hitler ruled Germany or any of that stuff, versus the guy who really had swastikas in his apartment and numerous books and, you know, all this stuff. Maybe their grandfather was a Nazi or something, you know, or great-grandfather these days, I guess. So I would say no to the original question. Yes, there are real Nazis in Germany, especially in East Germany. They're so few and far between. You don't really meet them. You do see more hobby Nazis, kind of, which would be like your skinhead Nazi type of person. You do see more of them, but their numbers are still amazingly small. You know, I think we forget that the original Nazis, a lot of them were educated. I mean, the leaders were, you know, they had PhDs. Back when getting a PhD wasn't such an easy thing to do. But they just had a thing, I think it's called Mallorca. It's the vacation island that everybody goes down to. I think it's off of Spain. Don't ask me, I don't go there. I have no plans to go there. Don't have the money to go there. And if I did have that much money, that's not the first place on earth I would go to. Not the 100th place on earth I would go to. At some German-themed dance club that had multiple floors, some DJ chick was performing this, I don't know, whatever they call it, boom, 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 and type music. I guess house beat, but I don't know if you call it house music or not. But they unfurled the nationalist colors of Germany, or red, black, and white, or red, white, and black, or I forget the order, with the Iron Cross on it. Which I think the flag in and of itself is not illegal. But the 5 or 6 guys are doing it. They had Nazi tattoos, and they started chanting Ausländer raus, foreigners out, which, if you think about it, they were in a foreign place. They were technically the foreigners. Like I said, I would classify them more as hobby Nazis. But that was the worst thing they did. And if you can find the video on YouTube or on Twitter, you can see that the crowd starts, Nazis are sons of whores, Horenzonne. So that was like the worst thing they did. In the last 15, 20 years, the worst thing that happened regarding Nazis, like serious bad shit happening, was the National Socialist Underground, NSU. I think over the course of 11 or 12 years, they managed to murder 8 people. And now they're questioning one of those murders. Did they actually do it? I mean, it was huge news in Germany when they finally caught them. It was like 2 guys and a girl. And the 2 guys committed suicide. The girl just went through this major case. I forget what the outcome was. I mean, she was found guilty, but I think somehow played the victim card a little bit. So, and I think 8 murders in 11, 12 years is not that big in the grand scheme of things. I mean, any gang worth their salt and Chicago can do that in one night, or LA or wherever the big, or think of what the Mexican cartels are doing. Another thing is they have some groups around here called like Tugida, and it's like Germans against the Islamization. I can't speak English anymore. Of Europe, and everyone will call them Nazis, but I disagree, because they do their best to keep Nazis away from their stuff. And they kind of want a democracy based on the Swiss system, which, if you know anything about Nazi politics versus Swiss politics, you would instantly see it's almost the exact opposite. The Nazis believed in the Führerprinzip, the leader principle. Definitely not democracy is to the lowest level that you can get it, where each town has a right to say, or canton or whatever has a right to say, and if they don't have a majority agreement, the law doesn't pass. The original Nazis were like, okay, Hitler said it, it's law. There's also AfD, Alternative für Deutschland, Alternative for Germany, and once again, they will get called Nazis, but once again, that's hyperbole. It's like Donald Trump's a Nazi, or whoever the guy just got shot in Scalise or something, he's a Nazi. It's like whenever everybody's a Nazi, then no one's a Nazi. Because they're also very much for decentralized, direct democracy. So once again, I'm like, they can't be Nazis. Because in my mind, racist is not necessarily synonymous with Nazi. The vast majority of the people who defeated the Nazis would be called racist today. So, in my family, the people who fought against Germans, they would definitely be called racist today. Or Nazis today. What? If they didn't directly fight against the Nazis, they were related to somebody that did, because I got family that fought against the Japanese too. But, so there's a lot of this hyperbole, which I think is everywhere in Western politics today. I said, if you're not left, you're a Nazi. Trying to think, there's supposed to be some big concerts, 3 big concerts in Thuringia this summer. One's like Rock for Germany, the other one's Rock gegen Überfremdung, was that Rock against alienation, and I forget the last one. And there's supposed to be some Nazi bands there, especially that Rock Against Alienation. And some of those, I might say, are probably actually Nazis. Well, hobby Nazis, and then maybe some real Nazis. But they're thinking altogether there might be 7,000 people that visit 3 shows. And when these are outdoor festivals, so... And this is people coming from all over Europe, and you have to imagine, even from Russia and stuff. And when you add all these populations together, you get almost to 500 million people. You know, way more than America. So, you know, Antifa and the left are, you know, well, everybody's crying about that. Like I mean, compare that to any standard festival in Germany, and that's really small, you know, 3,000, 4,000 people. I mean, they can have like a local band festival that will get that many people. I mean, bands that, you know, like your kid brother plays in type bands, type stuff. So I can tell you this, the left wing is much bigger in Germany. Antifa is much bigger than it is in America. I think all those American people based, the ones that have been in Cal Berkeley or whatever recently, have started, copying the Germans. Somebody, they must have taken a field trip to Germany and like, oh, we gotta start doing this. But I'm gonna come out and say no, there's not a Nazi problem in Germany. If you look at it from a analytical, unemotional standpoint. And there's a lot of left-wing violence too. Right now, from the news I read, the majority of violent crime is either committed by the newcomers, the immigrants, the Syrians, so they're really like Tunisians, and Moroccans, and Afghanis, and Pakistanis, and, the whole Iraqis, if we're talking about rape, murder, all this stuff, stabbings, or just dumb shit like spraying pepper spray in the bus, which seems to happen on a daily basis, just even here in Saxony. I mean, you don't even have to read the whole German news, you just got to read the local news. I would say that is what's getting in the headlines. Like, I remember a few weeks ago, there was a holiday, I think it was like Pentecost is what it would be called, but Pfingsten, and the headline was, they found some Nazis, drunken guys in a bar yelling Nazi slogans, and that made the news. Like, drunken Nazis in a small bar in a small town yelling Nazi slogans. Like, like serious. And you have to realize too, in Germany, man, if you raise your hand too high in the wrong direction, and say the wrong thing, that can be jail time. That can literally be jail time. Post the wrong thing on the internet, it can be a big fine, if not jail time. So I think the Nazi scare is way overdone. And I also think, like, reverse psychology. I'm definitely one of those people, if you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna damn well do it. But it's not like they're marching up and down the streets around here. I mean, sure, they might have a march every once in a while in some small town, and you'd be like, what the hell's going on here? But I mean, it's usually like 100 guys versus 1,000 or 2,000 leftists. So once again, it's not like they're taking over the streets here. Guess one other thing I'd like to say is the difference between American Nazis and German Nazis. At least the German Nazis are hobby Nazis or skinheads or whatever. The ones I've met, they at least have jobs. I mean, sure, they're not highly educated, but they all go to work. If there was a big study that came out that the average left-winger, the Antifa guy, violent Antifa, is 21, jobless, and lives with his mom. The ones that I know, they all have jobs. They go to work. They actually work a lot. Because in that scene, you know, you can't sing songs about people who don't like to work and not go to work. They're also a lot of them are strongly anti-drugs. So, like your average American Nazi's probably strung out on crystal meth or something. And also the German ones make a lot more sense because they're like, yeah, my father was in I guess there's even those ones that are old enough, but their grandfather was in Stalingrad or something, you know, with the SS or with, you know, something. And I'm like, oh, well, okay. I guess it's in your family, you know. Like, well, the American Nazi can't speak a lick of German. What little bit of German they speak, it's all fucked up. They speak with a horrible accent and the grammar's all wrong. They don't know shit about the history. And they're probably strung out on crystal meth or some other crazy drug. I would say that the American Nazis are a lot more lowbrow than your German variety. Even though, like I said, you're not gonna meet a bunch of skinheads at the university. At least I've never seen one at any university, and I've been to a few German universities. And Austrian ones, too. What else can I say? It's an easy way to sell newspapers or get your news published or whatever. It's clickbait or whatever. Oh my God, Nazis! Click, 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 click. You know, next door neighbor was raped. You know, I'm in a bad neighborhood in a bad city in a bad state. You know, I got all the things going, and yeah, there are Nazis around here, but it's not like they run the place, and it's not like they're extraordinarily violent. I've even had one or two come after me or start cussing me out or whatever because I'm an American. Once again, I love Germany. You can drink in public. It was too hot in my apartment, so I came out and said, have a glass of wine. So to answer the question for myself, I would say no, Germany does not have a Nazi problem. And if there's any growth in it recently, I can see why. It's because I've been coming to Germany for 11 years. I've been living here for 15 months now. 15 months? 16 months in a row now. Haven't left. Well, okay, I was a day in Switzerland and I was like an afternoon in Poland, but outside of that, I haven't left Germany. I can see how it's really, with the refugee crisis, how it's really been flooded, so I can see why that would arouse certain sentiments. I guess I'll leave it to another video if I discuss does Germany have a racism issue. But yeah, I would say, nah, anytime you start getting Nazi stories from Germany, it's way overblown. It is way overblown. It's just shock value. It's just, oh my God, Nazis. There was a gang rape in the park by, 13 Syrians. Oh, okay, yeah, we can't talk about that. That would be racist. Oh, there was a Nazi walking down the street with his hand in the air. Oh my God! Yeah, so that's what it's really like. I think I said my piece. All right, thanks for hanging with me. See ya.